Righty, guys, welcome back to the channel. John, tell us what you did over this weekend here.
We had our store championship at Cartastic Locals here. It's pretty intense because so many good players in OC do play at Cartastic. We've got Benny, we've got Peter, even like other players too that, they're just insane. So it's really hard to actually, win at our local and win at our store champ as well.
Yep.
But I brought something spicy. I came first, tied for first with Benny with the Green Token Majin Buu leader. I actually think this leader is quite slept on right now. It's actually really good. It's probably going to be a little bit more in-depth than some of our other profiles because I'm assuming that most people don't actually know what this leader does, but I actually personally think that even for a regional event, even a national level, I think this deck's actually insane. And I guess it's my time to explain why I think so.
Alrighty, let's go over the deck here.
So we started with the leader. We've got a massive big chunk of text here, but we've got auto once per turn. When this card attacks, you choose one card from your life and place it under this card, and then you draw two cards. The reason why that's relevant, some of the Majin Buu cards absorb cards under your leader to resolve the Union Absorb skills, so that's how you do that. This skill is actually really good anyway, drawing two cards. It's essentially like take a life, draw a card kind of thing, but it's just worded a little differently and functions a little differently. The only downside about this skill is that if you absorb your SCR, it feels pretty bad, but other than that, this skill feels really fine. Active main once per turn, Spirit Boost 1. You choose one of your opponent's battle cards 4 or less in their drop area and put it under this card, and then you get to choose one keyword skill and you get it for the turn. This is actually insane. Like, you can still, I'll give you a perfect example, right? If you verse U7, for example, right? You're getting literally double strike, dual attack, critical, whatever you want, right? Because all the cards are within the target range. And on top of that as well, the really big thing about this skill is that you deny sparking from the drop area, which is actually huge in one of my matchups today. At the store champ against Hatchiak, I was able to deny sparking 5 and go for game with my leader. And yeah, it's just really good. The drop area is fairly important right now. You can take draw rapes, Brianne's, stuff like that. And it's pretty obnoxious as well. It's like being able to swing, untap, swing again, it's really good. And I'll get into a really cool interaction you can do with the dual attack as well. And then the awaken one is just 4 life or less, untap 1, draw 1. So yeah, so the interaction I was talking about, let's just say now versing Red 7, you take a dual attack freezer, you swing, do your stuff, go back to active mode. You can then awaken and resolve your auto, draw a card when this card attacks on this side when it attacks as well, right? So pretty nice already. So again, auto once per turn, when this card attacks, draw a card. The once per turn is literally just because of dual attack. Like, if you can take dual attack every turn and just draw 2, it would be even more broken than what I think it currently is. The active main for Spirit Boost 1 is the exact same as on the front side. The difference is that now we can actually target battle cards from the battle area, which is actually really nice. Just literally free removal, as well as if you're versing U7, you can take a dual attack, a double strike, or so many things. It's still only 4 or less, which kind of is a little annoying, but it's still really good regardless. And then the other active main here is you choose 2 cards from under the Majin Buu card, and then you gain 5k until the end of your opponent's turn. So you essentially get a 2-turn bean. Really good skill. Situationally, it doesn't come up because sometimes you like to hold your opponent's cards hostage because you don't want them to go back in the drop area kind of thing. But just the fact that you can literally, especially turns for going for game or when you don't have to hold the cards hostage, you're able to, give your leader a free bean. Really good. So, yeah.
I think one of the cards you held hostage against Juden was one of their 1-drops. We were talking about it against Trunks Jeter.
Yeah, so against Trunks Jeter, one thing you can do, you can actually still do it. Most of the time when ends are happening with that deck, they're only usually cycling between the 1/1 drop over and over again.
Yep.
So you're actually able to steal that 1/1 drop and stop them from cycling, which kind of just limits what they can do. Just small things like that is just a little toxic that this card can do, and it's like they literally can't do anything about it, right?
Super annoying, yeah. It's not interactable, unfortunately.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this leader is amazing. I think it's like, just reading this alone, the only thing that's really tied to is a unison, which is why with the Spirit Boost skill, but the rest of the effects are all just really generically good.
And I believe you said that this leader's getting a Zenkai away.
This leader is getting a Zenkai leader as well, which is quite funny. When I started playing this, I got a Zenkai, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, alright.
So the first thing, I'm going to explain this into 3 different parts. The Majin Buu package, the blue package, and then the rest of the deck, so I can kind of explain why. So we'll go over all the Majin Buu cards first. So we have all the Majin Buus with Union Absorb. We have a generic 1-drop. This is the main card. These are the 2 cards you mulligan for.
Here, where there's not as much glare. I think. Yeah.
So this first Majin Buu, we only run 3 of it. It's when you play it, it's a top 5. Search top 5. Look top 5 for a Majin Buu with I think it's 4 or less. Majin Buu 4 or less. Add it to your hand. Just generic searcher. Not that good. We're not actually running that many Majin Buu cards, so this one's just more for the Union Absorb skill. This one, best one in the deck. Play it, draw a card. Amazing. And then we have Bupo, which is literally the same effect as Topo, where you pitch a card from your hand. If your opponent wants to attack, they pitch 2 cards. So this already is pretty solid. What does it go into? the core of our deck, the Majin Buu, the Mighty Absorption. So all these cards have a Union Absorb skill where you take one card from under your leader, put it under it, then you can play a 4-drop from your deck or drop area, which is very important. Even if they remove this card from the game, or if they clear it from battle area, sorry, you're able to constantly replay it, so you'll never run out of this card. What this card does, the first thing it does, it allows us to unplay. It searches our deck for our Unison, so we always see our Unison already a super consistent play. I've just got the whole Majin Buu package here. So it searches for our Unison, but then you have to discard a card from your hand. Most of the time you're discarding himself if you've got extra copies of it, or literally you can search your deck for the Unison, discard the Unison, so, you know, kind of just like the thing your deck one card, right? The second thing is that his active main, Limit 1, Spirit Boost 1. I know it's a lot of text there, but it's literally because it's when Limit 1 and Spirit Boost 1 came out, it's explaining what they do. But the main thing is that you summon a Majin Buu token to your battle area, and you can take up to 1 life. As well, so this allows you to accelerate your Self-Awakening, and also gets another 15k buddy on the board. Like, this deck is super aggressive. For 1 energy, we're producing 15k swings, right? And this also allows us to rip a life. And on top of that as well, there's one more effect too, where let's just say now, our Majin Buu, our Mighty Absorption, would get removed from a skill. As long as we have a token in play, we can sacrifice the token instead. And the really cool thing about it as well, there's a lot of effects in the game that target multiple things. So for example, let's just say both these cards are in rest mode, right? And we're up against a yellow deck. They play the Turtles to KO both of our cards, for example, or even the Trunks Unison -3. How it works is that they declare that they're killing all your cards, but you actually choose the order they go to the drop area. So I'll be like, I'm choosing my Buu first. My Buu permanent will go off. The token dies. So even though they did an AoE board wipe, this card still lives. This card is incredibly tricky to get rid of. And it's just like, you know, produces a free 15k swing for the turn. Then we'll go into the Babidi Unison. It is a 1k card. You might probably see that initially and think this card is probably the easiest card to clear. It's actually really obnoxious to clear. So a big thing about it is this permanent skill here. As long as we have a card with Servant in rest mode, you can't attack this Unison. Just unlucky. Unlucky for your opponent. And how we give a card Servant is that with this +2, we choose a Majin Buu we have in rest mode. It gains Servant until the end of the turn. Only choose card until the end of your opponent's turn. So you're essentially getting like a Deadly Defender for your Unison. That's base 25k now because Servant also gives you 10k. So this card is just insanely difficult to clear. The fact with your spamming tokens as well, it's like just, yeah, really hard to clear. Like the main card of our deck, it allows us to Self-Awaken, allows us to get free 15k swings. And a cool thing too is that with this, it allows you to bypass, like, for example, Trunks Vegeta is one of the most popular decks right now. You can just summon a 15k token for free and tap it, like, for the Trunks effect. You don't really care about a 15k token getting tapped, right? You just, you know, dodge the summoning sickness. And the last effect the Babidi has is this order. It actually, when you remove a marker with Spirit Boost from it, you gain Overlord, where you can just bottom deck your Servant Majin Buu and draw a card. I only really use that skill in 2 situations. The first one is that if I literally have no other Majin Buus in my deck or drop area that I can play, and I just want to get another one to get another 15k swing, or if I'm like pushing for game that turn. But yeah, that's essentially what the Majin Buu engine does. It's essentially just like draw a card, thin your deck out. Like the reason why this is good, if we're talking about, you know, people that love their numbers, you know, you play this one Majin Buu, it draws you a card, it searches for this out of your deck, and then that searches this out of the deck. So for this 1/1 drop thin your deck 3 cards. If you're a numbers guy like myself, I did math methods in my day.
Sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh here, you know? You play one card, you know, search the other 2 here.
But the point is that you thin your deck, so the deck is already super consistent.
Yeah, super consistent. If you haven't played with it. And your count is, I think, 52, right?
My count is 52. Yeah. And like, everyone was saying, dude, you see your SCR every game. Well, yeah, if you do the maths, dude, you run the numbers, it's good, it's good. But, alright. Now we'll go into our blue cards. So the one of the, I believe it was Devin Butters that actually found out like about this interaction with the Hercule.
Yes.
But what this Hercule card does for 1 energy, you choose a Majin Buu battle card you have in play with cards underneath it, and then you choose a 1-drop Majin Buu from under that card and play that card. And if you do that, you get the draw a card. So what ends up happening is that you choose your 4-drop Buu. So we'll have it like this here, right? Most of the time it'll be like this. So you choose your 4-drop Buu. You're able for 1 energy to summon this 1-drop Majin Buu. Then the Hercule will draw you a card, and then this auto, when this card is played, draws you another card. So if this Hercule just plus 2/2 and gave you also 10k combo power, and if then you can just use the Union Absorb skill again, play another one, right? So this Hercule this is a really broken interaction that only this deck can do, and it just makes it feel really oppressive. The fact that this card can be played on blue or green energy, and it's essentially a 15k dual attacker that thins our deck insanely well. Like this Hercule feels really nuts. And it also allows us to kind of go into blue-green. The other thing that allows us to go into blue-green is this cell here. This cell is busted. Like, this cell, The reason why I actually thought of this deck again is that I was browsing through green decks on Deck Planet, right? And I came across a Furious Strike Son Goku because it was from the history booster, and I was like trying to make a fun deck for that, right? And then I saw this guy was playing 3 blue cells in his deck. I literally thought, how do you even play this card? This guy's trolling. And then I read the card, right? Insane what happens when you read, right? But the active main says only 1 blue. So what ends up happening most of the time? You just charge the cell and tap it and summon itself.
Yeah,
that's insane. And what makes it even more insane is that, like, the thing about this deck, it was really lacking late game. Like, I know in Devin's original version of this deck, which is where I got the idea from originally, he was running 4 West-Kai, just kind of for the blue count, right? But now, this is essentially a check line in this deck, that when it comes to late game, it's just a boss monster. This helps you close out games, and it's just insane. And, of course, it allows us to play B, right?
Broken,
One of the best cards to, ever be printed. It's still relevant.
Honestly, Cell is really good. The moment that John mentioned it, I believe Peter is also playing this in his green cooler deck, so literally only 1 blue. Yeah, we didn't realize until when John mentioned it.
Like, this card is
crazy.
This card is literally like the best green monster in the game, even though it's a blue battle card, right? It's just the fact that even though it is a blue card, you just charge it the turn you want to play it. And the other thing too is that because a big thing that I was talking to Benny about. The big thing about most decks, realistically, most decks want to go into blue just to play Bean, but every deck has the massive drawback that if you do go into blue, you have to play a multicolor card, which means 1, you have to waste a turn charging a multicolor card, and 2, you also have to run dead. If you don't see your multicolor card, your Beans are literally dead. So, like, for example, in Trunks Cheetah, who are running 8 multicolor, like 4 the Bojack and then 4 Bean, that's literally, until they play the Bojack and until that turn passes, they have 8 dead cards in their deck, right? Well, the main reason for that is because the super combos on every other color say you have to have all the energy, same color. But this is the best super combo in the game, Paragus. This just lets you straight up draw 2 cards first, then warp a card from your hand, no energy restriction. This is like, the thing that I like about this deck, it's like a lot of moving parts that you look at it, it looks weird, but then when you think about it, it's like, this shit's pretty good, So yeah, it says draw 2, warp 1. Like, yeah, the fact that this all works, you never have a dead turn in this deck. You kind of just get to keep on doing your thing. It feels great. But yeah, that's really cool. And literally, like, ignoring this Hercule, right, you can literally just change this for West-Kai, and every green player out there can literally just run 4 West-Kais, 4 Bean, 3 Cell, and then just Paragus like they normally would in literally any green deck, I'd say. I think that once a lot of people catch on, or green players specifically catch on, they'll be doing it, because I think, the argument for you like playing blue or whatever, you have Hatch, but we have Dormant, which is kind of the same thing almost. So yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, so that's the kind of spicy stuff. The rest of it is pretty straightforward. Besides 1 card, we play 4 Charismatic Frieza. Just one of the best counterplays in the game. We have our deck revolves around having a unison in play, so this is usually always live. Next we have 2 Spirit Bomb Goku. I'd actually say it's probably the worst card in the deck. I think it's still necessary, but I felt like it was the worst card. Active main limit 1 for 1 green. If you have 3 or more energy and unison in play, you play this card and then get to remove a marker from your opponent's unison. That's pretty nice. And then Spirit Boost X, you remove as many markers as you want from your unison. You charge the Spirit Bomb up.
Did you get to play it over this weekend?
I played it once, but I didn't use that second skill.
Yeah,
but if you remove, for every marker you remove, you gain 5k, and if you do at least 2 markers, you gain a double strike as well. It's good. I sided this card out pretty much, not every matchup, but when I needed to side stuff out, I would side it out. And the last spicy card in the deck is this SSB Vegeta.
Hey, all right, tell us what this does. Your favorite character, Vegeta.
It is my favorite character. So what this card does, it is you'll see on the side 2 plus 10k. That's pretty yikes. 2 energy for a 10k combo, not good. Got dual attack, but the reason why it's good is that if your leader is green, after you combo this card, you get to play it in active mode as long as you have 3 or more energy. This card is essentially the same as Raider's Warcry, besides the fact that it doesn't draw you a card. But the difference is being that instead of Raider's Warcry being double strike, this is dual attack. And it's also restricted to 3 energy, which in this deck you don't actually care about. The reason you don't care about it, like turn 1, you're playing a Majin Buu 1-drop. Turn 2, you're playing a Unison and a Hercule, ideally. And then turn 3, well, then you can play this card turn 3. Like, you go into your turn 3, normally with a pretty wide board and, like, a lot of energy to use. Like, you kind of just want to extend for days in this deck, right? You want to use Bean to extend and, like, get the most out of your token swings and whatever and whatnot, right? And the cool thing about this card, even though it says dual attack, it's actually kind of like a triple attack card in a way. So let's just say now we swing with our leader, right? We swing, and then we just combo 10k, all right? That's 25k combo, right? And then we play this card anyway. So let's just say now this is just a 2-drop dual attack. We miss that interaction of pumping our leader 10k, right? And then we get another swing for 20k. We can bean it as well, which is huge. It's the big reason why I wanted to run it, because it's the best cheap dual attacker that green has. And so then you can just do so much pressure just with one card. Like this one card pressures 3 damage. For the first time you pressure damage is when you combo it, and then the 2 attacks it provides as well. And the last order I didn't mention is that when this card KOs an opponent's card, they actually discard a card from their hand. Didn't come up at all, but sometimes it's nice, if they you combo this out, they play it, they swing, token negate. Sometimes they're a little bit hesitant to token negate when I go for swings into certain cards, just into the leader, because I don't want to lose that one card, but that 1 damage can cost them. And the other thing too that's also huge about this, and the reason why this deck can feel so smooth, even though it's a green card, this card's played on whatever energy you want to play, right? I can combo a blue, green, 2 blue, and it will come out no matter what, right? Just because you're playing it through the combo step. So this card feels really good. It's uniquely only really good in this blue-green build, because the big thing about it too is that you're kind of just exploiting Bean, right? You get with the Bean, you get one. This is essentially a 25k dual attacker for 1 energy with combined with Bean, which is sounds like a card that got banned if I'm not mistaken. If I think it's fair. Lastly, we've kind of got our the rest of our floodgates. Yep. We've got homicidal clones and 3 dormants. I was originally running this 4-2, but I didn't really like it that much. Dormant, we already have the Buu negate, so Dormant is fine, but we also have a substitute for it. But the homicidal clones is too good, like for free, stop 2 attacks, and can also rip extra life, which we don't have problems ripping life, but it just feels good to be able to stop an attack for free.
Yeah, I think the main card that we want to block is Vegeta Secret Rare and the Golden Frieza Unison from the Cooler deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Those 2 main, very, very, very good cards in the current meta that we want to stop.
Correct. Lastly, we have, for our Overrealm, we have 2 Bardock Awakened Instinct, just a simple draw 2, pitch 1. I'd say it's like one of the most generic best overwhelms in the game. We don't really want to be spending energy on our overwhelm, so that's why I just decided with this. And plus, just drawing 2 cards just always feels
People
nice.
Are like saying, why do you always see a secret rare? Oh, John added more consistency.
Yeah, exactly. Like this deck, all this deck does is just this deck just checks all the things. Does this deck draw a lot of cards? Yes. Does this deck awaken quickly? Yes. Does this deck do stuff for free? Yes. Can this deck play Bean? Yes. Does this deck have a boss monster? Yes. It has just all the check marks.
Yep.
That sounds like a pretty good deck, so it looks weird, but you cross all the check marks, you get a tick, you pass your test, and then it sounds good.
Yeah, this guy's slept on right now, Bring it back.
I think it's getting a Zenkai leader. I think this leader will be insane. Last 3 cards are all 1-of, so the first thing we have is Champa. Champa, being able to make any attack double strike, always really nice. Golden Frieza, this is one of the later adds. It was something I always considered from my first build, just because it is another dual attacker card. The only thing that this card is a turn 4 play, even though it costs 3 energy, mainly just because of the fact we're charging blue. And the big reason why it feels nice is that it's just another green unison in the deck, because sometimes Babidi will get cleared, so it's nice to be able to play an actual unison in the deck that does stuff, provides some pressure. I'm able to do a board wipe as well. This is essentially like our 4th cell in a way. And, it just feels nice. Sometimes you're able to go for that -4, get triple strike in. And, I think it was really good. I run another one in the sideboard, so it's really good to hatch, just a dual attack in unison. And the last card is our Majin Buu Kabito Kai Absorbed. This card is actually just so degenerate in this deck. So, what it does is that it's got the standard permanent skill, get removed when removed. It's got EX Evolve for 3 on your Kabito Kai. It never comes up, we don't play Kabito Kai. Double strike, and then the way you play this card during your active main or battle, so you can just summon it normally for 2 or play it as a thing in the battle step, whatever. You just get to play this card, and your opponent can't attack with battle cards for the turn, so it's literally Hatchiyak, but for battle cards, which is really nice. But the huge thing about this is that for auto, Spirit Boost 2, you get to steal your opponent's unison. That's insane. We're playing Babidi, right? Did you read this card before? It's a 1k, And we get to steal, there's so many, the thing that's insane about this, there's so many good unisons in the game that we just get to steal. Not only do we get to deny our opponent's unison, we just gain that unison straight out, right? So the reason why, Supreme Kai is really good, that's another, if you don't have this card, Supreme Kai is good for this deck as well, right? You're paying 1 energy to do, you're paying the 2 energy to deny unisons. The unisons are just so uninteractable, and for the ability, this is the best unison interaction in the game. You just outright deny them. You turn off all their counterplays. You turn them. You gain an extra thing. You get to have your own thing. So many times I've been able to still Majin Buu unison, Baby unison, Gohan unison. Against Trunks Jeter, I was playing against Jun. He didn't respect this card at all. He'd swing into my 1-drop, right? just for whatever, with his trunks, just, you know, try and get that extra bit of value. I'd Bean, sack my blue energy, and go +2 green, then play it still as trunks.
Yeah.
It's just such a broken card.
Yeah, another thing is, honestly, if I was sleeping that day and I wasn't aware, I'd probably swing with Gohan Unison, thinking, oh, you know, I'm pretty safe. He's only got 1 energy, you know, if you can beat and do some shenanigans here, you know.
Exactly. Even if they see you only have, like, if you have 1 blue up, right, you just bean into this, and even against blue, right, they can't even God Sealing this, because you'll just, all right, they play God Sealing, tap 2 green, I'll bean, I'll play it again. Like, okay, well, damn, that sucks. So this card's insane. If you don't have this card, there's plenty of other options, like Bardock, the Primal Carnage is good, Kai's good, Pan's actually really good for this deck too, but I just think the fact that this is like the best unison interaction in the game warrants its spot, and it's also on theme, you know?
Yeah, Heroine's lineage is pretty good too.
Yeah, this is like, you know, that on crack. That's it for the main board.
Alright, go over the sideboard here then.
Yeah, so we'll go through, the sideboard's pretty straightforward. In Benny's wise words, local hate, you know.
Local hate Kevin, yes, alright, thank you.
Hate Kevin, hate, you know, hand destruction. This is for literally just Sin Shenron.
Yep, and then Peter.
For Peter, hand destruction, you know, so pretty important. To Gohan, this card...
This is for me.
Yeah, this is for Trunks Jeter. Just being able to, like, literally playing our token to take the summoning sickness, then just playing this on top. Feels pretty good. It's also pretty good into... There was another deck I started this in for. I actually have a mental blank. But the point is...
AOD?
AOD, that's the one, yeah. It's just, being able to remove barrier cards is really nice, and the 2 energy double striker, really good too.
Yeah.
Another Golden Freezer. This is for Hachiak.
Yeah. Shout out M.
Shout out M. Yeah, this is like just another unison that we can swing twice with is really good. Just for any floodgates in the game, you know, 3 Dodoria and 1 Focus Breakthrough. This would probably be 4 Dodoria, but I actually don't own 4 Dodoria. Only 3 apparently. I was going through my bulk, so yeah, that's why I've got the 1 Focus Breakthrough as well. But I'd actually probably keep it the same as this, just because the Dodoria requires a unison to be in play, and it doesn't hit as much, whereas Focus Breakthrough hits Floralist, which hits just certain cards it hits, where Dodoria does not. So I think it's fine as it is. And the last card in my sideboard is Big Amor, which is for U7.
Yep.
I would play the Kusu over this card, just because, like, this kind of just denies them from playing it, kind of thing, but you want to kind of punish them for playing it, which this card doesn't do. This card just says, you're not doing that.
And also, Cocoonsa is also another 5k combo.
Exactly
as well,
right, it's another 5k combo, but yeah. That's my Majin Buu deck. I really do generically think this deck slept on. This is a deck that I know we didn't go to the Brisbane Regional here in OCE. If I was going to the Brisbane Regional, I would probably play this, because, you know, people would have to read my cards, and a lot of people like stumble at that bit sometimes, you know? So.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, a really good day.
But in all seriousness, I actually think this deck's really slept on. If you have the cards, I would recommend trying it out. It's something that will catch a lot of people off guard, and plus it's a deck that will provide you a lot of unique interactions that only this deck can do, and just being able to do stuff that, you know, breaks the game in a lot of ways is enough to win a lot of matchups. Like, again, with the ability to steal cards from the drop area, that came up huge against Hatch Player. Denied him his power burst by stealing his 5th card from his drop and able to close out the game like that. So, yeah. Give this deck a try, that's all I'm saying.
Alrighty, any shout-outs you want to give?
Shout out to the Fantastic Boys, always really fun to, you know, come play. Shout out to Benny for, you know, holding the camera off, you know, giving us a good film. Shout out to Collectors Company, give us a, you know, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it, right?
Alrighty, thank you guys, thank you for watching. Alright, signing out. Peace.